Hi BookTube, I'm here today with a book review. Sorry that I've been absent for a little while, but school and work and life gets a bit hectic during this time of year. Yes, but one book that I recently finished that I would like to review is The Phantom of the Opera. Now, this book is one that has been around for a long time. It was first published in the beginning of the 20th century and has been adapted into like a play and a movie, neither of which I have seen, so I kind of felt a little bit out of the cultural loop. So I thought, why not understand your own culture and start to um, and read it. So, The Phantom of the Opera, written by Gaston Leroux, and it takes place in late 19th century Paris in an opera house. So, one of the main characters, her name is Christine, and she is a rising star in the opera world. She's a young Swedish singer, and she basically is the object of the Phantom's affections because the Phantom becomes infatuated with her, and um, and he appears to her as the voice. So just as a voice, and so she can't see him and only can hear him, and he trains her and helps her to become a better singer, and she thinks that this is the angel of music who has been sent to her by her deceased father, and so she kind of relishes it, and he, um, but there are rumors, of course, that that this opera house is haunted, and so there is a like strange things happen. Like for example, the opera ghost, he insists on being paid incredible sums of money, and having his own special box seat, and when he doesn't get his way, things go wrong and people die or get injured, and so no one really knows what's going on. And for a big portion of the novel, you don't quite know like how supernatural or how realistic it is. Like if the original book, it feels a bit almost like a detective story because because we follow, it can be a little bit frustrating because we follow many different characters about like, oh, how does the opera ghost do this, and how does he escape here, and how does he grab this from somebody's pocket without anyone noticing, and so it feels a little bit like a Scooby-Doo mystery at times, which wasn't what I was expecting. The best thing about the Phantom of the Opera is definitely the atmosphere. The atmosphere is really exquisite and creepy and eerie, and it's definitely very like gothic inspired, and romantic era inspired. So it's a really great concept, but it's something that it feels like it wasn't quite delivered as well as it could have been. For example, so there are three main characters: the Phantom, obviously, whose name is Eric, and Christine, who is the object of his affections, and Raoul, who is in love with Christine and has been since they are children. And Raoul is in love with Christine, and he's trying to wrangle her from the grips of the opera ghost. And so it's basically him first coming to accept that the opera ghost exists, and then trying to rescue Christine from him. But Christine isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, and also Christine and Raoul have a very tumultuous relationship, and so they're reunited at the beginning of the novel because they had known each other briefly as children, and there's really no connection between them and no chemistry, and so it's a little bit so as a reader you want to like you want to root for their relationship because you don't want Christine to end up with this like manipulative, abusive ghost. But Raoul is really not a great alternative, and so you really aren't cheering for anyone. But so it's very creepy and eerie. This is one of the few times where I think the movie might be better than the book. I don't often agree with that, but I'm gonna watch the movie and see what I think. But because the best part of the story is the atmosphere, it's deliciously creepy and eerie and old-fashioned, and because that's the best part of this. I think being able to see it visually and having actors who would hopefully maybe bring more to the characters than the author did could potentially make it better. Also, too, having the music being sung out loud would be wonderful as well, too. But it felt a little bit like the author couldn't quite decide what genre he wanted it to be. Is he writing a ghost story? Is he writing a love story? Is he writing a Scooby-Doo detective novel? Obviously, this is before Scooby-Doo, but there's quite a bit of head hopping as well, because like, in order to explain some of these supernatural events, the author will take us through the same series of actions several times through different people's heads to explain how it happened and how it was not supernatural or how this happened. Also, there's like a vaguely racist depiction of a man who's just called the Persian, and it's pretty weird. But overall, I would probably give this book like 2.5 stars. I was really impressed at first. In the first half of the book, I was all gung-ho and I was really excited and I was probably going to give it 4 stars, and then it just really didn't deliver, and it started to just become very trite. Anyways, but I'm gonna watch the movie, see what I think. I am glad I read it because it is a very delicious read. It is, like I said, the atmosphere is the best thing about it, and so, it was definitely an amazing idea, but one that wasn't fully expounded upon as well as it could have been. I mean, okay, early 20th century writers aren't exactly known for their like amazingly complex and robust female characters, but Christine was a bit of a disappointment, and overall the relationship that you're supposed to be rooting for wasn't really that interesting. Yeah, so I finished reading it and I was torn whether to give it 2 stars or 3 stars. I'll probably give it 2 stars on Goodreads and then just add a note saying it's 2.5 stars. Yeah, let me know if you have read this book or what you thought down in the comments below. And maybe you completely disagree with me or maybe you don't. Also, if the movie is worth watching, let me know as well too, because I've heard it's quite good. And again, this is one of the few times where I think the movie might be better than the book. So, alright, thanks for watching. Doei!